Welcome, my wellness warriors. This is episode 2. Is therapy better than prayer? Child, let me tell you. Before you go and try to label me a heretic, I am no shape, form, or fashion alluding to prayer and therapy being on a pendulum where you have to swing in one direction or the other. I am no shape, form, or fashion saying that therapy is better than prayer. So now that your hearts have hopefully been satisfied, let's get into it. Most believers are struggling with therapy because we have been taught that prayer should be enough. But God never asked us to choose. There is a stigma that surrounds mental health in general because a lot of our predecessors made therapy become you only go if something is wrong. There are a lot of reasons that people go to therapy. Sometimes you may be in transition, a new job, new location, and you just want a different perspective from the decision that you're making. And so therapy fills in some of those gaps for you. As a therapist, we do not tell you what to do. However, we do sometimes challenge your perspective, and that helps you make the best decision for you in your family. But prayer is this beautiful tool that God gave us so that we may connect with Him, so that we may tap into the holies of holies and find out what is it that He has in store for us this day. For me, prayer is my love language. It is how I talk to God. It is how I connect with God. And we've been misinformed to think that prayer has to be this presentation, this theatrical performance, that you have to be on your knees or you have to have the music going. And there's nothing right or wrong about any of that. However, prayer is so much more. Do you know that sometimes I'm walking down the street and I'm praying? Whether it's audibly or sometimes in my spirit, I am praying to God. When I'm at the grocery store, I am standing in line waiting to check out, and I am praying, talking to God. When I am in therapy and I am conducting a session, guess what this therapist is doing? Praying. And I'm praying to God because I yielded my talents, my gifts and abilities to Him. And because I have yielded them to Him, I constantly seek Him for guidance and direction. So as I'm in the therapy session, I'm listening for what the Spirit is saying about your situation, so that not only may I point you to more clarity and understanding, I'm pointing you to Christ. And guess what? All of my clients are not believers. And I don't have to browbeat them over the head with the scripture. All I have to do is show them the love, the compassion, the grace, and the mercy that flows through me because I belong to God. And so prayer and therapy work together. Think of it this way. If you are starting a business, hopefully, as you're deciding which direction to take, you are praying about it. You're asking God, okay, God, what direction should I take? Who should I partner with? Where am I going to obtain funding? So you find an investor in your business and you schedule a meeting with the investor. Do you ask yourself at that moment, do I go to this meeting or do I pray? It sounds kind of facetious. However, it's not. You are going to go to that meeting. And on your way to that meeting, while you're in that meeting, you are going to be praying. Therapy is no different. As you're in the therapy session, you should be praying. You don't have to decide, I'm not going to therapy because I'm just going to pray. You need them both. Do you remember in the Bible when the disciples was asked to cast that spirit out of the demoniac, and they could not do it? And they went to Jesus after he cast them out, and they said, Father, why couldn't we do it? And do y'all remember what Jesus told them? He said, this kind by fasting and praying. What was he doing at that moment? At that moment, as Jesus gave them guidance and instructions, he was their father. He was their teacher. He was their mentor. And he was their counselor. He provided them with guidance and direction to help them solve a problem, an issue. As a therapist, that's what we're doing in the session. That's what that therapist is designed to do, to help you problem solve. And if you don't know how to problem solve, that therapist is going to teach you the formula. We're here simply as a guide. We're not here to tell you what you have to do. We're here to challenge the decisions that you've chosen to make, that you have declared are not giving you the best quality of life. And so prayer is our surrender. Prayer is that place where the believer brings their whole self before God without pretense. When we look at Philippians 4 and 6, it tells us you can bring your anxiety to God. You don't have to pretend like you're not anxious, you're not stressed. And so in that moment when you're praying and you're asking God for strength, you're asking him for understanding. Have you ever been in a place where you say, God, I don't understand. I think you're telling me this. I think you're telling me that. Therapy will help you fill in some of those blanks, because our position again is to help you process the information that you have and to tell you where additional resources are. Sometimes you need more information. Sometimes you weren't taught how to cope, so you don't have healthy coping skills. You may know how to drink. You may know how to smoke. You may know how to drive really fast to clear your mind, but you're doing it while you're intoxicated. Those are unhealthy coping skills, because the way we cope with stressors can either be healthy or it can be unhealthy. But we all cope some type of way. And what I'm saying to you is that therapy helps you find a healthier way to cope and manage life stressors. Therapy is going to give you a safe place as a believer to explore your emotional, psychological, and relational levels of your story. This is your story to tell, and guess what? Can't nobody tell it like you. It helps you untangle patterns, traumas, stress, family systems, and unspoken wounds. When I do presentations and seminars, one of the things I like to ask is, how many of you have someone that you consider a best friend? And people raise their hand. And I'll say, how many of you still have things that you won't even tell that person? And people raise their hands. And I'll say, that's why you need a therapist. It's because of those things that you won't tell anyone that's probably causing you the most distress in your relationships, in your mind, and in your heart. And so going to therapy with an impartial person that does not have any skin in the game. Y'all, we don't have any skin in the game. We're not trying to get you to be something or do something for our benefit. We do it because there's a higher calling for us. We have been called to help. And helpers have different forms, different responsibilities, and different titles. And one of my titles just happened to be therapist. But I'm also a counselor. I'm also a sister. I'm also an evangelist. I'm also a friend. I'm also a teacher. I'm also an administrator. And so on and so forth. Because the title is only telling or acknowledging the position that you're holding. But there are so many other ways that you can use what's on the inside of you. Don't limit yourself by a title. And that's why therapy is so important. Because in therapy, you can also search for what else is there that I'm supposed to be doing. Romans 12:2 reminds us of transformation. What's that supposed to look like? We should be ever learning, ever seeking, getting to the knowledge of the truth. If you are a believer and you are wrestling with whether you should pray or seek therapy, hear this clearly. You do not have to choose. God uses both. He uses prayer to strengthen your spirit. He uses therapy to strengthen your mind. He uses community to strengthen your connections. And he uses scripture to strengthen your foundation. Healing is not a betrayal of your faith. It is an expression of it. Because you believe that God has more and greater for you than this, I'm going to address those wounds. You are allowed to seek support. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You, talking to you, are allowed to seek support. You are allowed to honor your humanity. You are allowed to heal every layer of who you are. And sometimes healing looks like therapy. Healing looks like praying. Healing looks like going on vacation. Healing looks like reading a good book or watching a good movie. But you are responsible for your healing. Let us help you. You are not in this alone. Until next time, the Good Fruit Counselor, signing out.